Hi everyone, welcome to Simplicity TV. I am Jen Pike, your host. Today's topic is all about estrogen dominant conditions. So endometriosis, cyst, fibroids, breast tenderness, fibrocystic breast tissue, and exacerbated PMS. Now, what do all of these have in common? A higher amount of estrogen in our body compared to a lower amount of progesterone in our body. Now, sometimes higher androgen levels, so DHEA from the adrenals and testosterone or those offshoots, it really depends on how your body is choosing to metabolize and what pathway your system is moving those down, can create some of those bigger issues that we are feeling. Now, I'll tell you, endometriosis and fibroids and cysts, they don't just happen overnight. It's not like yesterday you didn't have these conditions, then you wake up today and now it's a problem. These things have been brewing behind the scenes for a long time. They oftentimes start first with digestive issues, so this could have been as a young child. The second thing you'll notice is you have a lot of blood sugar instability. You never feel full. You need to eat every couple of hours. You crave a lot of sugars and starches and refined carbohydrates. You're always looking for that next little thing to pick you back up. You probably have a lot of mood swings. You've probably dealt with some pretty bad PMS over, however many years or decades you've been menstruating for. A lot of breast tenderness, heavier periods, a lot of cramping, maybe seeing some clots. These are the signs and symptoms that would be leading your body down these pathways that are much more estrogen dominant. If you're not pooping regularly, it means that you're not able to actually get that excess estrogen, those hormones, out of your system, because as you create hormones every month and your body utilizes them, they're going to go through the liver to actually be, detoxified and to be moved on through, and then 3 more phases of detox before they finally make their way out through the bowels and you poop it out. If you've not been pooping regularly or you've had issues with that, it means that you've been retoxing and essentially off-gassing a lot of that toxic estrogen back into your system. It stays in there, it accumulates, and it starts to wreak havoc. Cysts and fibroids are a big source of that. Endometrial changes. So this might show up initially as some abnormal cells showing up in your pap smear test. When you have very painful periods, this pain is coming from, number one, the uterus contracting to actually help to shed the lining of it, which is your menstrual bleed. That's that, final phase of your 4 phases of your cycle. But if you have any of those endometrial changes or fibroids or cysts, that area is much more tender. The actual texture in there can be harder and more calcified, which then when you have the cramping, it really palpates and irritates and makes your experience that much worse. If you're having very heavy dark flow, like dark in color, purple, there's chunks that are coming out. These are big signs and symptoms that you want to be going to your doctor or your gynecologist about. Now, oftentimes women get put onto the birth control pill to solve this. It solves nothing. It shuts down your pituitary gland. It completely suppresses your ovulation. If you don't ovulate, you don't create progesterone. This is the biggest myth and lack of education that I find so frustrating. You have a woman who has an estrogen dominant condition, all these different things that I've just listed. One of the main reasons that estrogen is wreaking havoc on her system is she's probably not ovulating and producing progesterone. That's like a classic tale of what's happening with PCOS. If you don't ovulate, if that follicle doesn't ripen, if that egg is not released, you don't have that corpus luteum, which is that leftover part that our body uses to actually produce progesterone with. So if you don't have enough progesterone to counterbalance the estrogen, that's why your symptoms come in like raging. It's why you feel raging. Your mood's all over the place. You're getting the hormonal migraines. You can't just go and take something like a bioidentical progesterone to try and auto-correct it and fix it. You've got to work at getting the bowels moving. Look at what you're eating. If you have a really processed diet, if you're not eating healthfully, you are literally supplying your body with all of the wrong ammunition in order to try to calm down that inflammation. So you got to cool it down with your food and your beverage choices. You've got to make sure that you're pooping. Supplement-wise, you need magnesium, you need vitamin B, you need a good quality probiotic, you need vitamin D. You need something in your body that's going to help to get this estrogen out. Indole 3-carbinol, DIM, calcium D-glucarate. There's a great combination product I talk about often called Estro Smart by Lorna Vanderhaeg, which is a very good one to start to use. I would have you start, I don't know your health history, so I'll say this is a general rule of thumb. This is not a therapeutic dose. 2 capsules daily for a minimum of 3 months. You got to go through at least 3 cycles. I prefer 6 on a therapeutic dose, and that's something that if we were working together, I could talk you through. But 2 a day for a minimum of 3 cycles, up to 6 cycles to see how things shift. If you start to notice lighter periods, less PMS, just better overall moving through your cycle, you are on the right track. More sophisticated way of looking at this is to actually use the Dutch hormone paneling, which is a dried urinary test to look at not just your hormone production, but your hormone pathways. And I'm going to do an upcoming episode on that that's going to go a little bit deeper. You could look at things like Vitex, chasteberry, turmeric for anti-inflammatory. Like there's a lot of different things that we can be choosing, but again, you can't just take the supplements without changing your food sources and getting the bowels moving. And the thing is, if you start to change your food and eat healthier, get more veggies, fibrous veggies, healthy fat, lean, healthy protein, reduce your refined starches. If you're somebody that all you eat is like crackers, granola, cereals, pasta, chips, cookies, rice, all of those things, I'd actually recommend that for the next 4 weeks, you cut those as much as possible and replace with your greens, with your root vegetables, sweet potatoes, different squashes. You get a wide variety of fibrous vegetables in. Watch how much fruit you're consuming, no more than about 2 servings a day. So maybe like a half a cup to a cup in a smoothie, and maybe an organic apple with some Brazil nuts for, a midday snack later on. Keep your blood sugar stable and hydrate. If you don't have enough hydration and water, not coffee, not lattes, not pop, not juice, water to actually flush this out of your system, it's going to stay in and accumulate. The other thing that women times will often be referred to is doing a cervical ablation, where they go in with a laser and actually burn off part of your uterine lining to thin it down so your bleed isn't as heavy. These are temporary fixes. They won't last long term. They're going to lead to scar tissue buildup, which over time will make your periods even more painful. And then the final thread for women is getting a hysterectomy. Well, I don't know if you've actually researched this, not just based on the surgery itself, but how you would feel coming through this. It is literally like your entire hormones have been ripped out from underneath you. Especially if it's a radical, where your estrogen or your ovaries are gone, your uterus is gone, your fallopian tubes, everything. If you weren't living in a state of having balanced blood sugar, healthy adrenal function, healthy thyroid function, and now they go and take your entire uterus and ovaries and literally pull your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone production, guess what's gonna fall? You, your mood, your energy, your sex drive, your cognition, your memory, your focus, all of it. So these are big things we're talking about. You need to understand more before making big decisions. And I would recommend, you might have a fantastic family doctor. I really hope that you do. But you need to also explore the alternative side of things, that you can have a complementary approach to being able to heal your body. And myself, colleagues, we have worked with thousands of women to help them shift out of these cysts, fibroids, PMS, heavy menstrual cycles, and endometrial issues that are going on. I'm not going to say that getting through endometriosis without Western medicine is a fast thing. It's not. It's going to take time and patience, but you need to get on this soon, ladies, because endometriosis, it moves quickly and it grows out of the uterus. It can grow into the bowels, up into the bladder. It can cause a lot of problems. So if the person you've been working with has been giving you, solutions of suppression, you need to press pause and really start to look into some of the natural ways. And this is a big thing that we go through in the Hormone Project, is teaching you your different hormone pathways. Are you properly detoxifying? Are you methylating? Are you neutralizing? Are you getting out what doesn't need to be in your system? And then do you know what you need to replenish with to actually create a healthier, better base? And if you're dealing with this, moms, you need to know this information for your girls, because if it's in your system, they came from us, okay? And they are more like us than they are dad when it comes to our reproduction and our microbiome. And that whole vaginal uterine area has its own microbiome. So what you're learning about your body in the Hormone Project, you are going to then be able to transition to teach your girls about their body through and hopefully prevent them from ever having to go through so much of the situations, the problems that you've had to deal with. So it's a big topic. I could sit here and talk about it forever, but that's what we do in the Hormone Project. So if it's something like, if I've just kind of struck a chord and I've got you wanting to ask more questions, respond to us. Visit www.jennpike.com/the Hormone Project. Read more about what is included and stay connected with us on social media and to the podcast, The Simplicity Sessions, because I'm always talking about, this subject and these types of things. My goal for you, yes, I run a business, but my goal for you every day when I wake up is to help you as a woman know and understand more about your body. Really the things that I feel we should have been taught from being a very young girl onward. And I can't do this by myself, right? I can't change the conversation if I'm the only one that's having it. So this right here, this exchange of energy, you paying attention, it really matters. And what will help this is if you go and share this with another woman in your life. So that's my call to action, and my first step of homework for you is share this with more women so you can start to talk about it together. All right, I will see you next time. From my couch to yours, have a great day.